California Governor Gavin Newsom is under fire for falsely claiming a city in Tennessee has banned being gay in public. Murfreesboro, Tennessee, had a law in place that dated back to 1949 against indecent exposure in public. The original law mentioned homosexuality specifically and was brought to light this past June. The statute was updated this October after action by LGBTQ supporters, hoping to stop people from thinking that indecent exposure implies homosexuality. The new ordinance no longer mentions the word. However, despite the update taking place nearly 1 month ago, that didn't stop Newsom from tweeting this just 4 days ago. A city in Tennessee has banned being gay in public. This is just the beginning. We have to call this out. So, Bill, the history of this ordinance, a little complicated, but the bottom line is that his tweet would not pass the fact check. He was trying to make this Tennessee town seem homophobic, and it's not.
A couple things to say here. I'll just throw a bunch of stuff out there, and if you guys want to jump on anything, go for it. The bias is really on him, because that was his own judgment about what he was reading into the language. And there's this group called Gays Against Groomers. I just looked them up. They have about 400,000 followers, and they're calling him out because it stands for all people and not just gay people. A couple things here. Part of the attack from Democrats on Republicans about the issue of gays in America was muted when Donald Trump stood on that stage in Cleveland, Ohio in the summer of 2016. And look, I remember it like yesterday. Rick Grinnell, he was with the California delegation, said, Bill, the president's about to make history. He's about to recognize gay rights for all Americans. It's never happened at a Republican convention before. Do you mind if me and my two friends come up here and sit, because I was covering the floor at that point? He said, do you mind if we have these 3 seats? I said, you bet. It's history for you, brother. Absolutely. And he came down and he shared that moment. Off they went. So Trump took this issue and took it away from being used in many ways against Republicans. My feeling is just looking at this story from Gavin Newsom. Look, he was the mayor of San Francisco, the governor of California. He's well-versed on the issue, but his first read on this was flat out wrong. I give viewers this announcement Thursday, a week from this coming Thanksgiving. You got Newsom and DeSantis in a 90-minute primetime debate here on Fox.
One to watch.
I think both men are quite capable of this stage, shall we say, and I think it'll be mandatory watching.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up, because in April, Governor Newsom posted a very dramatic Twitter video about a college in Florida, calling it, it's called New College, calling it ground zero for what the GOP is trying to do to education in this country. Books are banned, speech is limited, faculty are scared, students are bullied. Fox News Digital, Emily, reached out to Newsom's office asking to provide a list of these alleged banned books. Failed to do so, didn't even respond to the inquiry. So the other thing that's interesting about this is he's talking about Florida, he's talking about Tennessee, he's the governor of California. Why would you be talking about all these other states if you don't have aspirations for higher political office?
Right. I mean, he was using donations to put up billboards in Florida. So the last person to acknowledge it is him. But it's frustrating when, being a Californian, the state is rotting under complete utter failure of leadership, and he's busy just thinking about the next office that he can occupy. I want him to govern. I wanted him to govern when he was mayor of the city in which I was rotting there, subject to his policies or lack thereof. Here's my issue with this, is of course it's wrong. Of course that was an overgeneralization on his part. He's totally wrong there. But it doesn't matter how much we explain. It's what we were saying a couple minutes ago, that unfortunately the narrative is so baked and the Democrats are so cohesive that it doesn't matter that he's wrong, because the Don't Say Gay bill was also wrong. And yet that has spread not only like wildfire, but it imprinted on the social and media fabric of this country, and no one has let it go. So when you put up a picture of DeSantis, then they immediately say things that are false about him that never happened, because the media perpetuates that, and so does Gavin Newsom. So I wonder too, after two Thanksgivings from now, 2 Thursdays from now, that debate, what will be the narrative then?
Yeah.
I have a good idea who's going to smoke the other, but I wonder what the coverage will be like, and therefore what history will tell us.
Yeah, and Kennedy, not only does the media perpetuate this, social media does as well, and young people mostly get their news. A third get their main news source is TikTok. Things like this tend to spread. So what do you think about Gavin Newsom and this narrative that he posted on social media?
It's all a distraction. I mean, he knows it's fake. He knows that his policies are horrible, and he's doing whatever he can, like a big phony baloney shellacked, telepolitician, to get people distracted from the real issues that he's facing in his state. If you talk to anyone in California, you go, oh, I love that city. I was there 10 years ago. They go, well, have you seen it recently? Yeah. Like, it has been taken over by homeless, mentally ill drug addicts, and a lot of these places are incredibly unsafe. He is also unpopular. He has dropped 11 points just from earlier this year in an LA Times poll because people in the state know that he has abandoned them for his higher aspirations, and so he's going to attack Florida. He's going to attack Tennessee, places where his policies, luckily, have not taken root. And yes, a forceful rebuttal to his failures will do the entire country a very big favor.
Kaylee.
Yeah, this is what the left does, to underscore what Emily was saying. They take something, they totally misconstrue it. They attach something, a nice name to it, or something that evokes shudders to it, and they allow that catchphrase to sum up the entirety of the issue. Gender affirming care. How nice does that sound? Okay, it's disguising minors getting sex changes. Don't say gay. We're just going to call a bill that, when in fact the text of the bill says classroom instruction by school personnel or third parties on sexual orientation may not occur in kindergarten through grade 3. Pretty common sense. 77% agree with that proposition in the KFF poll. But when you call it don't say gay, when it takes fire in the media, when the left lies about, when Gavin Newsom tweets out something like this, people believe it, and it is very effective. And the right needs to have a remedy to this, because this is what the left does to great effect.
Bingo. There are far too many issues in California to be worried about Tennessee.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.